because God's going to help us. But how, God? How? Number one, we got to pray. We got to pray. We got to ask God to help us. We got to ask Him to show us what we can change. And we have to obey that still small voice. You ever heard something inside and you think, oh, that's not going to work? Trust it. Trust it. If you've prayed, if you're believing, and God speaks something to you, trust it. Because you know what? Sometimes God just wants to know if you're going to be obedient. It might not even be the solution to your answer, but it's credited to your account in obedience. You know what that does? It teaches us. It teaches us to be obedient. So we're going to pray. And we're going to pray with thankfulness. You know, sometimes I say thank you after I've received what I want. But God is saying, be thankful before you receive it. Because we have so much to be thankful for. Think about it. You can't think two thoughts at the same time. You can only think one thought at a time. And if you will fill your mind with thankfulness, it'll push out those worries and those concerns. It'll push out those things that are trying to hold us down. You know, we have to know that there are things that we have no control over. We have no control over our past mistakes. You know what? Those mistakes have already been made. You know, we do have responsibility for. Are we going to learn from it? And what are we going to do better next time? See, responsibility, I like this. It's the ability to respond correctly. Sometimes it's not always what happens to us, but what happens in us. How do we respond to that situation? How are we responding to the people in our life, the circumstances that come against us? Are we proactive or reactive? So today we can pray. Have you ever seen, or I know you have, but don't you love when you have those helium balloons? They're so cheerful, they're so great. You know, you can hold them out and you can just release them. And they seem to just go right up to the heavens. Well, something I've learned, when I'm feeling anxious, when I'm feeling worried and concerned, I imagine, I visualize that I have a bouquet of helium balloons. And in each balloon, I'll just put those worries and those concerns, those things I don't have any control over, those things I'm worrying about that haven't even happened yet, and I put them in that balloon, and I just release them up to heaven. You see, that is an act of our faith. That is saying, God, I trust you for what I can't do anything about. I trust you that you'll help me know what I can do, what I am responsible for, what I do have influence over. And every time you feel yourself getting agitated or frustrated or anxious, just imagine wherever you are, you're just releasing it to heaven. You're giving it to God. You see, trust is what gives us peace. And peace is what gives us power. Because we need power to be patient for the promises of God to come to pass in our life. Trust is just the absence of fear. When we're fearful, we're not trusting God. But when we take on that trust and we say, God, in the midst of everything going on around me, I'm going to stand strong and I'm going to trust you. I'm going to just stand here and I'm going to believe that you can take care of everything I can't. And everything I can, you're going to give me strength for. Today, God is saying, cast your care upon me. I want you to rise higher. I want you to hear my voice. I want you to be able to be proactive. I want you to see how are you responding to the things in your life. In 1 Peter, after it says cast your cares upon God because He cares for you, it says be alert and in control. God is saying be aware of what's going on around you. Be aware, self-aware of how you're responding. See, it's up to you and I to quiet ourselves down sometime and to be aware. So listen, we can pray. We can release those cares to heaven, and God will work miraculous in our life. Amen. Amen. He's a faithful God.